Well, usually it starts with any game that we do always starts with the developers and their idea and what it is that they want to make, always. And then from there we think about what do we think about that. We ask questions. Well, have you considered this? What about this? In any game development company, you have lots of ideas for things that people want to do, whether it's a feature they want to do or an entire game. But when a studio comes to us, they don't say, well, here's all of the ideas from all of the people who work for us. They themselves talk about, amongst themselves, ideas and things that they want to do, and sometimes it might be part of an idea for a game that somebody wants to do that gets incorporated into somebody else's. Well, we could take this out of this thing and put it over here in this other game. And but again, it's up to the studio to come up with a vision for what they collectively want to create, and then from there we say, okay, well, what would that look like? How long is it going to take? What does it require? What tech are you using? What features is it going to include? And then we start to think about, well, then how much is it going to cost? And then we have to start to think about, well, like how many copies can we sell? If it's an amazing idea and we only think we can sell 10 copies, then well, it better not cost much. But usually our ideas are better than that, and we sort of work on it and refine it and bounce ideas back and forth. I'd probably be careful not to start sharing advice, because how we do things at Bethesda is not necessarily how other folks can do it. But look, in general, there's a couple of basic things that we try to adhere to. Number one is that ideas are a dime a dozen. And I know people don't like to hear that, but they are. People want to pitch us all the time an idea. And an idea doesn't mean anything unless you have a team of people who are able to execute on that idea. So if I tell you I have a great idea for a new football game that I want to do, and it'll be the best football game that anybody's ever made, and you say, that's great, who's going to make it? And I say, oh, I have no idea, it's just an idea that I came up with, then it's meaningless. Right? You need a team of people who have experience to say, not only do we have this idea, but here's the kind of skills that we have. We understand the technology, we understand the systems that we have to create, we've worked together, we've worked on games before, we know how long it'll take. That's how you get from just an idea on a piece of paper to something that you can actually make. And it turns out in almost all situations that the game that you design, that you write down on paper, is never the one that you end up shipping. That what's most important is that you actually start to put things in the game, you start to make the game, and then figure out what's good or fun based on playing it, not how good it sounded on paper. Because lots of things will sound good on paper, and then you play it, and you might have think it was the greatest idea in the world. You're like, oh, this isn't very fun. This isn't very interesting. It's not cool. Like you have to get to that stage as fast as possible and make all of your changes and ideas in the game and iterate on them from there. For Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, we did that combat system 3 different times before we settled on one that we really liked. So it's not about like the whole game, it's usually about get all of these different ideas into the game, try them, see how they feel, take ones out, put in a new one, try doing it a different way. It's usually more that, as opposed to the entire game is crap and throw the whole thing out. No. Look, we make games that we're excited about. We make games that we think other people are excited about. That doesn't mean that we don't think about things like, well, what is the social experience of this game going to be like? Are we supporting people who want to stream and want to watch streams? Is there things that we could do to make the game more fun to stream or to watch stream? Sure, but like getting streamers or come on. Game development is hard enough as it is. We take feedback from lots of people, but the feedback that's actually helpful is feedback on things that you've already made and put out there. Having people offer opinions on something that they haven't actually seen or played isn't particularly helpful. What's really helpful is something you've launched and reading their reactions. What did they like? What didn't they like? What did they want more of? What did they want less of? And then taking that feedback into informing the kinds of things you want to do in your next one. I mean, that's how we got Fallout 76 in the first place, was since I joined the company in 1999, the number one thing people always asked us about is, when are you going to add online? Morrowind, can you do co-op? Fallout 3, well, can I play with my friends? Skyrim, will there be an online version? So that's the thing that we kept hearing, is people wanted to experience these worlds and these games, but do it with friends or do it with other people. Fallout 76 is, okay, let's make a different kind of game than we're used to making and see what it would be like to create a game like that. But that is a different team and a different group of people than are tackling Elder Scrolls Blades, and how do we take an Elder Scrolls game and bring it to a mobile platform as a free-to-play game. It's not the same folks. We have a dedicated team that's working on that, while we have a dedicated team working on this. Well, they do everything that you would expect a board of directors does. I mean, the board of directors meets with our chairman and our senior team to look at what the company is doing, where it's going, what its plans are. You know, you sort of asked about, what is the roadmap. So yeah, they see the games that we're working on. They ask questions about how we're creating them, what my teams are doing to market them effectively and interesting, how well we're doing at the things we said we were going to do, what are the next things we have coming up. So they take a look at everything that our company is doing, just like they do at, well, I assume that they do at EA or Activision or any other companies that have a board of directors. They are an incredibly talented, as you said, they're all incredibly successful and very talented folks. And to have somebody like Jerry Bruckheimer or Les Moonves, who are so heavily involved in entertainment and understanding that it's not easy to make really compelling entertainment, or to have really savvy business-minded people who can look at how you're running your business and decisions you're making about strategic partnerships, or what is your approach in China, or what are we doing in Russia, or should we do this or that. They help provide help and guidance in making important decisions.
Very interesting.